here?
I had to stop.
Fixing jacket.
Yep. I'll fix my hair too, you know?
Your hair's fine.
Awesome.
You've been red.
When I moved to the United States, I joined an anime club at my school. We all went around introducing ourselves, and I mentioned that I am from Germany. One of my favorite animes just so happened to be Hetalia. Suddenly, some weeb called M rudely interrupts and asks if I'm German because I was an Hetalia fan. The only other place I saw M was the Weeaboo hunting grounds, also known as the Japanese class. M and I got placed together as partners for a project when right off the bat she starts making dyslexia jokes because I kept messing up the kanji. I felt slightly offended because I do have dyslexia, but at the same time it's not devastating, life-ruining disorder that will cause me pain for the rest of my life, plus how would she know? A few months later, we started planning a Full Metal Alchemist cosplay for a small con in May. We kept planning dates to meet up and work on our costumes, but M hardly showed up to any. She kept saying, "I'll get it done on my own, don't worry." In fact, one of the only times she did show up at one of our meetups, we were explaining to my mom what we were doing. She got mad because we used the dreaded word cartoon and literally walked home, which was over an hour on foot. Sometime later, I was complaining I didn't have time to get breakfast, and M straight up said to my face, "Good, you look like you need to drop a few meals, especially if you're going to be Roy Mustang." Now, I don't want to sound like I handled this like some triggered SJW kind of way, but I kind of did. I went on a long rant about how one of my cousins ended up in the hospital for anorexia and all that, and how I didn't like how she was using something that affected a lot of people in the same way as my cousin, and when I was done, all I got was a, "Chill, it's just a joke." M also would make fun of other things like my accent, my religion, the things I liked that weren't anime or Japan related. She would also steal my German books, and I never got them back. One time, I even got sent a video of her burning a few with the context, "You do this often from where you're from, yes? For your Führer?" M seemed to get hostile every time I mentioned anything about Germany, or anything about Europe in general, unless it was Hetalia. Got to the point of starting to force an American accent until it became natural. Remember the cosplay we were planning? Yeah. May rolls around and M still comes to the con as Edward, even though we had already had an Edward who had actually put time and effort into their costume. Not a black tracksuit, a puffy red winter jacket with paint on the back, and her hair unevenly bleached blonde and put into a messy braid. She started arguing that she was going to be Ed and how the others should just leave, even though she was supposed to be Fu, but apparently he wasn't Kawaii enough, and that she had to be more important and deserved a main character, so she had to switch. M also ruined the Envy's wig as well. Eventually we managed to lose her to the end of the day. Second day of con, black leather trench coat, bad black Halloween party wig, foam sword, spray painted blue, and I could hardly even guess what she was trying to be. Apparently it was Kirito, and she would yell at anyone who questioned her. I didn't even attend the third day out of embarrassment. Over the summer, M moved to Nebraska, and luckily we haven't talked since. Coming right back to Italia with this story, I'd been dating this one girl, America. She was friends with a friend who was absolutely obsessed with her, called Liechtenstein. After I started dating America, Liechtenstein would start messaging me some weird stuff and calling me a baka, or Canada-kun, since I used to be a Canada cosplayer and a fairly well-known one too. It went on like this for a few months, but she ended up doing something really nasty one day. One night, America was spending the night with Liechtenstein in Liechtenstein's home, but she left because I had an anxiety attack and she was worried about me. Liechtenstein told her mom that I was jealous of her, and her mom proceeded to message me telling me I was a horrible person, that I was a manipulative liar, and that I was going to hell for being such a horrible person. This resulted in me getting kicked out of the hotel I was sharing with Liechtenstein and America for the upcoming con. America got kicked out of the room eventually too. If I remember correctly, it was because she wouldn't break up with me. This whole situation was a huge strain on our relationship since Liechtenstein was America's best friend. At the con, we saw Liechtenstein, but we avoided her. We were more concerned about the Catbug cosplayer running around and molesting Italia cosplayers at the time. A few months after the con, we all became friends again. Everything was normal, but then Liechtenstein started sending America and I pictures of her arms after she would self-harm. I'm pretty sure she sent them to me because she knew I used to have a history of self-harm, and I think she wanted me to start again because she probably thought that it would upset America to the point of leaving me. Liechtenstein also started role-playing scenarios with me where she'd be throwing knives at me and trying to kill me. She told me not to tell America, so obviously I told America. We ignored her for a while after this. A few months later, America and I broke up, and we initially broke up. America said it was because we were both going through too much of our own stuff, but she later told me it was because her friends were bribing her and blackmailing her to break up with me. Needless to say, I haven't talked to Liechtenstein ever since. So back in my 7th grade, my friends and I were put in a PE class, the same PE class, and we were pretty darn happy about it. It was like something to look forward to every day due to the contrast of the annoyance and intimidation of middle school stress. PE was fun, until we were introduced to an 8th grader named Weeb. Now, most of the kids in our school like to be badasses, so most of them signed up for athletics. And our class was so small, it was mixed with other 8th grader PE classes because of it. Now, due to this detail, we had to go through in pairs and teams with older students, and it was fine for the most part. Until we found out Weeb was really annoying. Every time, before PE class started, she would read like 2 pages of manga and argue with the teacher about putting it away, making every single living being in the classroom pay for her massive mistakes by doing 3-mile runs. Oh, but the weebiness doesn't stop there. When we actually met her for the first time, we would always spam and send as much broken Japanese as she could into her sentences. For the most part, she hung around this one girl who was just as annoying as herself, and the girl had a negative past relationships with Asuna, so I didn't really want to bother hanging around her. But for some reason, little innocent snake, me, attracts too much attention for his own good. One day, Weeb, Kazuko, and I were in a group, and suddenly she starts speaking to herself in Japanese, and whenever we would ask her to stop, she would either snap at us in more broken Japanese or completely ignore us and become adamant about speaking more loudly. It came to a grinding stop when I started absentmindedly humming the theme to Oran High School Host Club, and I started to kind of drift off because I had gotten no sleep last night due to a nightmare. To get my attention, Kazuto starts punching me in the shoulder playfully, and he's like, "Twin, wake up." We like to call each other the twin brothers because we looked alike, sounded alike, and we just thought the idea of being siblings was funny. Then Weeb slowly turned around and was like, Hikaru and Karu? What? I slowly start backing away like, what have I done? And she begins ranting to Kazuto about how I were like Hikaru and Karu from the anime, and we're a perfect gay couple, and she thought that we should totally be shipped like them. We told her no, straight in her face, and instead ran to the other side of the gym and pretended to participate in a different group. Weeb then started stalking Kazuto and I whenever she got the chance, and we never bothered to report her. Periodically, she'd shriek about some yaoi-related thing that I couldn't care less about than I already did. However, it got a little more embarrassing when she would come up to us with yaoi manga and read out a page expecting us to act it out or something. It was in the moment where Asuna started dating another dude that the shipping got more intense. Apparently, the only reason Weeby didn't do anything more drastic was because she assumed Kazuto and Asuna were in a relationship. One day, I was standing next to Kazuto for morning exercises, and Weeb just runs over to us and shoves me into my friend, causing us to both kind of topple back but not fall. She then snaps a photo and starts trying to make us fall over each other like some kind of yaoi. This causes Sakura to snap and chew her out for being annoying. Coach then comes over, asks what's going on, and somehow the weeb gets out dandy and free, and nothing else happens after that. I'm glad, but just a warning, if anyone tries to turn your life into a romantic gay anime, don't. Just don't.